Cool, so a little bit of a delay, but good evening and welcome on to either the YouTube channel or Facebook. Give us a shout out if you are here. And we are talking about an app called Cinamaker. And Cinamaker, I did a video on that brought out on Friday. And we are just talking about it and just going to show you how it works. We're actually using Cinamaker right now, literally just down here on the iPad, and this is an iPhone, there's an iPhone here, and I'm going to break down what I've done. Now, right now you can hear me through the sound of the iPhone 10, which is here. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you how I'm going to be able to plug in things like my guitar and my microphone so you could use this in a live environment. So first and foremost, thank you very much for joining us this evening. In the UK, there is a match going on, which we're doing quite well at the moment, so as it currently stands, but hence the t-shirt. But I just want to show you basically how Cinemaker works. Now, I'm using a system called Restream, and ask why you're not into football. So we're looking to doing this restream right now, Hannah, but thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, I might be mad in the UK doing a restream while there's a Euro 2020 final going on, but there we go. So here we go. Basically what we're going to do is I'm going to break down everything. So I hope you can hear me okay, and I'm going to break everything down that I'm using. So without further ado, you can see in the background, I've actually got Cinemaker running, and we're going to have a bit of a fourth wall moment where you're going to see the background of what I'm doing. This right now is an iPhone, and this is an iPhone 10, and this is an iPhone 12 mini. I'm using this phone so you can see me. A little bit of lights, and that's all nice. But then the only thing you can hear right now is just the microphone of the iPhone 10. That's it. There's no other microphone plugged into it. It's just sitting there in a tripod. That's it. Over here, what we've got, just grab this. This is completely just on its own battery. This is the iPad running Cinemaker Director. So what you use is, this is live at the moment and broadcasting to you guys live. And this is Cinemaker Director. And you can see right here, we've got the first camera, which is the iPhone 10, which is this one. And we've got the other one, which is pointing over here. The reason it's pointing over there is because I want to show you what I'm plugging in. And I'm going to put this over here. This is my little stand. I've had this in a couple of other videos. And it's just a laptop stand that you can buy off Amazon. I do have links to it, and this is my little mixer. So this is just for monitoring and also for controlling what you're using. So my sound is a little bit out of sync at the moment. Hopefully that should marry up. Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to move this back over here. I'm sure there's loads of people using the internet to watch the match. But what we're doing at the moment is we're going to show you this. So as I say, this is the iPhone 10, and it's just on the Cinemaker Capture app. Love the shirt. Cool. Yeah, it's yeah, quite my hat to be. So you use the Cinemaker Capture app on the iPhones, and then you use the Director app to control everything. So at the moment, this is using Capture, and that's it. We just set it as a video capture device, and it's on the same Wi-Fi. Everything's on the same Wi-Fi, and that's the most important thing. And then you have a user ID, which is like a network ID, which is 4 digits. So I've just set it to 4 zeros. Everything's on 4 zeros, so they should see each other. That's really useful if you've got maybe more than one setup and you want to have it on different networks, or the same network using different IDs. Anyway, I digress. So that's the first one. And the second one is this one. And this look is coming from the iPhone 12, and we've got the just a wide angle shot at the moment. And you can see the mixer and the iPad itself, and my hand doing that really weird thing as it goes into infinity. So let me just move that back. So I want to show you how this works. So I've got the audio, the only audio you're hearing right now is here, but I have got the audio set up on this side. And the whole point of this is so you could set up for a gig either at home, or maybe you're actually live on stage and you want to set up for live streaming as well as your audience. So all you would need is one iPhone and one iPad. The Director iPad, to answer a question that I got asked before, is only available. The Director's app is only available on an iPad. You need it on an iPad because you need that real estate. And another thing as well is I got asked the question, can you use the camera of the iPad as well while it's being a director? The answer at the moment is no, but I have been talking to the guys at Cinemaker. I don't know if they're going to work on that in the future. but you can use any device as a capture device. So if you did have an iPad, if you had two iPads, for example, you could use it as a one as a capture device and one as the director, for example. But I'm using iPhones because they're smaller, they're easier to just put into a tripod. So right now, what I've got is, as I say, I've got this other one set up, and one of the things that's really important is this cable right here. This is the Lightning to USB 3 adapter, and this is what you're going to need to plug in your mixer. If you've got a mixer that's got USB, which I have, and this is a really cheap mixer if I'm honest, but it's got USB, it sends the signal out to the main PA, and then at the same time it sends that same signal out as a stereo feed to the USB. The reason why you need this one, there's two available from Apple. There's a USB 2 one and a USB 3 one. You need the USB 3. Two reasons. One is the transfer speed is faster because it's USB 3, but more importantly, you need to plug it into power. If you're using an audio interface, that audio interface needs to be powered, and that's only 5 watts. So it won't actually generate enough power. You may plug an audio interface into an iPhone and it'll say, this is running or requiring too much power, and it won't power the audio interface up. So this is why you need this. And then this is going into power. I've got a little power bank at the bottom there. You just outshot, you just can't see it. And then this is the USB from the mixer. So you've got a little bit there, and what we've got as well is, this is just a stand on a gooseneck at the moment. And then what we can do is, as we move over, we can actually see the mixer. So we've got a couple of different things we're doing. So for example, I've got my microphone plugged into channel 1. And I hope you can still hear me, by the way, just because we're using this microphone. We've got the microphone plugged into channel 1, and then on channel 3 is where my guitar is. So then the output is the main out, just a normal main out, and they're going to the PA. And my PA, let me just move back over. My PA, if I can just move this now, give me 1 second, is literally that speaker. That's it, just this speaker, that's it. And we're moving over to there. There's the little power adapter down there, there's a little thing there. And yeah, it's literally just that. So let me just put this back, there we go. So I want to show you the whole thing. I want to show you all behind the scenes, how it works, because I want you to use it. So this is just as if you're plugging into a normal mixer and then you plug into a speaker. The only reason I do that normally is because I want to hear what it sounds like, and if I'm using my loop pedals, I'm not tonight, but if I was using my loop pedals, I want to hear the loop, I want to hear how it sounds. So we've got it all turned down at the moment. And then what we can do is we can actually turn it up. Now I'm going to go over and show you picture in picture. There's a couple of things you can do with Cinemaker, which is really, really good. If you are unfamiliar with it, we have a link that is in the description, but also it's on the screen now. And we've teamed up with Cinemaker. We're going to be making a series all about how you stream live, but from a musician's standpoint or from a performer's standpoint. It was originally designed to do things like interviews and, you know, sort of podcasts or multicam. And I think musicians really, really can advantage from this. Certainly if you've got a camera on the side of the stage, or if you've got one like looking at you and one looking at your pedal board. So you can do that if you want to. So that is there. If you want to have a look at that, that's my link to them, and it is obviously affiliated link. That's how this whole series is being paid for, so please do click the link, and that helps me out. That's enough of the plug anyway, but you can notice though I've actually got text on the screen. So how am I doing that? Let me show you how this all works. So what we're going to do is we're going to move over to here. So we're in Cinemaker right now. If you've not seen the picture, if you've not seen the video that we did on Friday, which is the getting started beginners tutorial, go and see that. But what we've got is, this is Cinemaker, and on the side here we've got add media. This is media at the top right here, and then we've got loads of other options as well. So right now this media is visible, and this is the text, and we click it and we can take it away. Or what we can do is we can do picture in picture, and that's what we're going to do right now. So I've got this option for picture in picture, so you guys can still see me while I'm talking to you about this, which is really, really useful. So what we'll do is I'm going to actually just show you a couple of the basics to begin with, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we're plugged in with the mixer at the same time. So the mixer is, as I say, just USB, and it's USB into the microphone of here. Basically it's actually into the phone, and the phone, when you set it up with capture, it asks you if you want it to be an audio or a video capture device, and you can do that. You can set it up as just an audio device. So say you don't want it to capture video, you just want it to be plugged into the mixer, you can do that. But obviously I've got it set up as audio and video at the same time. And it's clever enough to understand when there's something plugged in. So with this one right now, it just says internal microphone on the screen on the other side. With this one, it says USB. So it realizes there's a USB there, which is really handy. And then what you can do is you plug in what your USB is, whether it's an interface or whether it's a mixer. I would recommend a mixer every time if you're doing stuff for live. Two reasons. If you've got like a two-channel interface, like say a Focusrite 2i2 or something like that, it's a left and a right. And you end up pumping out left and right. So let's say you had your vocal on the left and guitar on the right. That's exactly as people would hear it. So it would sound a bit weird if you had headphones on because you've got vocal on one side and guitar on the other. A USB mixer, what that does is it mixes it into a stereo. So you've got audio that's both mono, to be honest, but then you can pan it or you can mix it, and then that's the whole point of a mixer. And that goes out to your speaker, but also goes out to the live stream. I hope that's okay. So I'm talking quite fast. So the other thing of this at the moment is then when we go back over to Cinemaker, and I'll show you in a second, you'll see the audio input from both cameras, this one and this one. So let me show you that now. So what we've got is on here, I'm just going to do this and just zoom in a little bit, which we can do. Hopefully you can see that now. Oh, it's gone upside down. Let me just change that. There we go. Right, so there's loads of settings you can do on this actually. So there's loads of little settings you do on the camera itself, but you can control it here. So what you've got at the moment, this is all the media section, and then we've got the cameras, the actual cameras where we can zoom in. So for example, we're on the Mini at the moment, so I could actually zoom in here and do this myself. Whoa, that's weird. And what we can do is we've got loads of different controls right here, and this is really handy. I don't have to run over there if I'm playing guitar with the microphone. I don't have to go, oh, I need to zoom in and go over there, make a change, come back and realise it doesn't look right. So we can zoom in on this one. I can actually go and zoom in on this one. So let's zoom in and go, hi, there we go. So you can see me now. And let's move that back. But the reason I'm showing you this is because you've got lots and lots of control. Now I'm going to go over to the audio now. So the reason why we're talking about audio is because right now all you're hearing is just the audio of this one. So basically the iPhone 10. Sorry, I forgot which phone it was for a second then. So right now we've got audio for the 12 Mini, and that is set to 0. And I've done that deliberately before we started this live stream. So let's turn it up. Let's actually get this up and running. Now, it's actually turned up on the mixer here. You might just be able to see that there in the corner. And let's turn it up now. Now, we might get a little bit of phasing, so please let me know if that's happening. And what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to turn up to about 70, and I'm going to turn... There we go. And I'm going to turn that microphone off. So now, what you're hearing is you're hearing the audio coming through from the mixer. How does it sound? Please let me know. There's a little bit of delay from the time I'm streaming to the time I find out whether you're actually hearing it okay, but please do let me know how it sounds. And now what this is, we're getting the audio coming from here, which is fantastic because what that means is I can actually change this over. Let me just flip that again. So now what you're getting is you're getting the audio, it's a bit quiet. Right, great. Darren, that's fantastic because if it's a bit quiet, what you're getting is the audio from here. Now we've got two options. If I turn this up, then what happens is it turns up from the mixer and goes through to the PA as well. Let's say it's as loud as I want it on the PA, but I don't want it to be overly loud for the audience that's right in front of me, but we've got also a live stream. So you'll notice that it's at 70%. So we can turn it up to 100. So now we've turned it up to 100, it's probably gone up in your ears, or on your speaker, or on your phone, whatever you're listening to. But it hasn't changed the volume on the PA. And that's the whole point. This is why it's really, really important to make sure you start quiet and get a bit louder, than actually blast people's ears out. And I hope that is a little bit better now. Now what we've also got as well is, yep, up a bit. That's cool. Fantastic. Hey there, JP. Hope you're doing well. Oh, it's Pete Johns. Pete Johns is in the room. How we doing, man? You okay? It's good to see you. Darren, yeah, a little bit. That's cool. So we've turned it up now. So obviously this is at 100%. Now, if I turn this one up, then this is actually going to turn up the whole PA as well as the live stream. So now, if we do this, I'm going to talk a little bit quieter because obviously it's going to go loud. Now, you might not want to do that because you might not want to actually turn up the PA itself in the room. If you're streaming at home and someone goes turn it up, no problem. But you could actually blast the people in the audience out if you're doing this in a live environment, if you're doing it in a pub or in a venue, or maybe you've actually not got that much control of the PA because it's set at a certain limit. What you can do is you can control the live stream volume right here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go back to media, and I'm going to take the picture-in-picture off and change over to our first one, which is this camera here. So you're looking at this camera, but you're hearing the audio from this camera. Does that make sense? And it's all coming through to the iPad, and the iPad, it's all wireless, by the way. I know there's a lot of cables, but technically it's all wireless because this is actually the phone for camera 1. This is camera 2, and the only bit that's going through wired is audio. And it doesn't have to. You could have all this set as wireless if you wanted to. However, if we're going through a mixer, we need it to be wired because we need to hear multiple sources. Having said that, we have a guitar. And without me dropping the guitar, you should be able to hear that. Should have tuned it really. But you can tell what you can get the idea. So now look at what we've done. Look at what we started with just a phone that is just basically sending the audio of itself out to the world. Now what we've got is we've got titles on the bottom of the screen. We can do picture in picture. So imagine for a second we did something like this, where we've got me in the corner and we could see the foot pedal if you're doing a demonstration. This is really, really useful. So this is how it all works. Now, a couple of things to actually be aware of. There are no effects going through at the moment. That is because this actual mixer is just a really basic mixer. It doesn't have effects on it. You can get mixers that do have effects on it. There's a Yamaha one that instantly springs to mind, except I can't remember the name of it. But there are effects built into mixers, and you could send that signal out to your live stream. The alternative you can do is you can actually have it on your pedal board, or you could have pedals that are plugged in and going into the mixer to then send some reverb or send some kind of delay or whatever you want. Then that would actually come through straight away. The beauty of this, and the reason why I want to show you this, is because the way we're setting up for a gig hasn't changed at all. Microphone and guitar go into the mixer, and the out of that go to the PA. That's it. That's all it is. Now the difference you've got as well is then the USB is going over to the cameras, and then we're actually live streaming as well. So you could take this on the road. It's really, really simple to do that because you've already got all this stuff. You've got basically your microphone, your mixer, your PA, whatever you've got. Now, if you haven't got this stuff, it's really easy to sort out because maybe you've got a phone and you've got an iPad as well. The other thing Cinemaker you can do for a director is you can use a Mac. So they have Cinemaker Director on the Mac. So you could use the Mac actually as the director. I'm just putting that guitar down because I don't want to drop it. But you could use Cinemaker as the director and then use your iPhones as cameras. Now, there is a camera actually built onto a Mac, and that is one thing you can utilize. You could use the webcam basis of that as camera 1. But then also you could use the iPhone as camera 2 or another iPhone as camera 3 and camera 4. And that leads me nicely onto Cinemaker Studio. So I'm just changing this over so you can see it. But there is a reason why it goes upside down, by the way, and I will explain that in a minute. But it's because I've actually technically got the phone upside down as Cinemaker sees it. So every time I change cameras, it does reset itself. So you'll notice on this side, and what I'm going to do is, you'll notice basically on here, and I'm just going to change it over. So you'll notice on here that what you've got is you've got basically me on the first one, and you've got a second one. Cinemaker is completely free, and what you can do is you can just download the app, Cinemaker Capture and Cinemaker Director, and then you've got two cameras, so you can put up to 2 iPhones or 2 iOS devices as camera assistants. That's what they call them. And then if you want more, then you can go upgrade to Studio to connect more devices. And what is really clever about this is you've got these options here, and you've got what's called a virtual camera. Now, you have to set it up beforehand, but what you can do is when you've got the studio version, you could have 2, but then you could have a virtual camera. And what do I mean by virtual camera? What that means is I could take this image right here, and then I could make another version of it which is zoomed in. So I could have a zoomed in on 3, but then the wide on 1. Or I can have up to 7 different look-ins. So I could have 4 cameras, but up to 7 different views, which is really, really clever. Now, on this side, you can see we've actually got things like, for example, let me just bring this back. On this side, you've got, obviously, all your media. You've got your cameras where you can control them, as I said before. We've got the audio there, and you can see the audio is coming through nice and clearly on the 12 Mini. And I've just got to remember that the 12 Mini is the PA. And then you've also got chroma keying, so you can actually chroma key. So if I had a backdrop here where it was a green screen, I could actually green screen it. And then you've finally got wipes. Now, I've set the wipe as a cross dissolve, so if I move from one to the other, it crosses over in about half a second. But you can change it to a couple of different things as well. And then with the add media bit, this is where you can really start getting creative. So as we add media, you've got a couple of different options. So we could add an image. So I could add maybe a template. If I've got a PNG, we could add that in where it just, I've obviously just got text here at the bottom of the screen, but I could actually add a PNG, which is actually see-through. So I could have my logo on there. You could add a movie and then it starts playing. So maybe you've got an intro or trailer you want to play. You can add text of we've done here and picture. Then you can add other audio, and then you can group all that together as well. So this is really, really cool and really powerful, and I think it's probably one of the most powerful, or if not the most powerful, iOS multicam streaming services available to you today. And this is why I want to talk to you about it, and why us in Cinemaker want to talk to you about it, because it's kind of built for musicians, really. It's built for performers. So all you need to do is just plug in an audio device into your camera, and you can set this up as just an audio device. So you can have up to, I think it's something ridiculous, by about 12 or 7 or 12 different audio devices. So you could actually mark up every individual band member and then mix it here. I know it wouldn't be like the full mix, but you could actually do that. So you could go from a one-man band like myself, and because it's right here, I've got full control. So on that basis, this is not plugged into anything, and this is what's doing all the streaming, and it's also recording me at the same time. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to change the audio and come a bit closer to you. So let's just turn this down. Let's turn this one back up. So now what I can do is I can come over to you a little bit closer, and then you can hear me a little bit easier because it's this microphone, not that microphone. So let's just say you were doing an interview or you're doing a podcast, or what this is doing is every time is video wise, this is recording everything. It's recording both audio feeds, it's recording both cameras or all 4 cameras at the same time as live streaming. That's really powerful, do you not think? I think it's really cool because let's just say you do the performance of your life and you've got it recorded as well as live streaming. Now there are services that can do this for you, but this is really, really cool because it means that I can go back in and I can re-edit it. So when I finish this live stream right now, there's probably a bit of a bit, but first minute or two, I was kind of like going, is it on? Is it working? And I'll probably chop that up, and I can then chop all bits and then render it out as a video and then push that to YouTube or my Facebook group or whatever I want. Let's say you've got a closed Facebook group. So you're a musician, you've got a VIP Facebook group, and you've created a lot of content. You can create it on here and you can repurpose it for your Facebook group. Now I'm using another service as well, which is Restream.io, and Restream.io is how I'm actually pushing this out to both Facebook and also YouTube at the same time. So on on my Facebook account, basically, it's going straight through to there as well. But also, it's going through to John Paul Music UK on YouTube. So I can see how many people are there, and I can see basically how many people are commenting or anything like that. Basically, if I just log in, and you've got all the actions you can do. Now, a couple of things I want to show you as well. I've got some lights up here, and we've got some lovely coloured lights, and we've got lights shining on my face. And there's a little button here where you can actually reset the exposure. And that's really useful. Let's just say you change a couple of different things. Please check your audio workflow and confirm it syncs while monitoring on the iPad with headphones. Okay, cool, will do. But yeah, so basically what you can do is you can actually reset that as you want to. So basically what we've got is at the moment, if I was to move over to here, you will get a bit of phasing now because I've got both open at the same time. But hopefully you can hear me on both, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that one down. I wouldn't recommend having both open, of course, because as Ben just said, you can get delays. There we go. And there's a couple of different options as well where you can actually change. If you've got 4 or 5 cameras open, you may imagine you've got like 4 cameras open, and then you've got all 4 audio. Now, if that audio is just a bass and a guitar and a vocal, you could single it out. But if it was all the same audio all the time, it would sound really, really weird. So you could turn it all down and just keep the audio from the PA up, which is what I've got right now, and I've turned the audio of that microphone off. So this is Cinemaker, and this is how it works, and this is completely free. I'm not using the studio version right now. I've not even signed in to the studio version deliberately to show you what's possible with Cinemaker. Now, there is a studio version which gives you more different options, a couple of different extra things you can do, like more cameras, for example. But I wanted to show you the free version because I wanted to show you how it works without paying for it. So you can go in and pay for it if you want to. Of course, you can go up to the studio version and get more things. And it's about $200 for the year. And £200 for the year, £200, $200. And I think that's probably what you would get in 1 gig. So it's pretty, really good. So let's have a quick look. Give us 1 sec. Yeah, so I think what Ben's just saying there, obviously because it's going through to restream and then it's being pushed back out again, it could be a delay from that audio. That might be the reason why this is happening this evening. But this is my sort of first time using Cinemaker with all of this. But I just wanted to show you this working, up and running. And yeah, Pete, it's really good. I'll give it a try. And obviously it is just a way to get your cameras. And it's the camera that everyone's got in their pocket is better than a video camcorder people had 5 years ago. So the cameras are great, and you want to use the front-facing camera, the one on the back, basically. So the back camera, which is the better camera. But of course, you then have to sort of dive round if you want to change any of the features. Well, you don't have to do this. I can see the all features all here, and I can change them all here as well. So that leads me nicely on to what you can do with it. Hang on. So this is the bit where I'm going to show you this working. In fact, what we're doing, I could actually just use my second camera. That's what I set it up for. That was clever, wasn't it? There we go, using the technology I'm talking about. So, for example, we can actually do a couple of different things. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. So when we go into here, which is the cameras, we've got the zoom, we've got exposure duration, we've got exposure bias, we've got the ISO, we can even turn off the flashlight, and we've got white balance, and then we can do manual focus. Now the bit rate is set as good at the moment, and we can change the bit rate and change it up or down. And then there's a little plus or minus, you may have noticed that there. That is a zoom anyway. And then you can just mess around with the focus. So let's just change the focus slightly. There you go. It's gone a little bit out of focus there. Let's move it all the way to the end, just as an example, just to show you. So there we go. Let's leave it on that. That's all right, I think. I think it was all right the way it was, to be honest. But there we go. Now, while you're live streaming, one thing you can do is you can this actually comes up, and this just shows you your connection status. So it shows you what the connection's like right now, which is really, really useful because obviously if it drops or if you're having problems, then it'll show you what's going on there. And one of the other things as well is that you've got basically access to each camera. So right now I'm messing around with camera number 2, which is down here, and camera number 1 is there. So if I was to go over to camera number 1, I could then obviously zoom in, and you can see it all happening. Cables are in the way, but you can see it all happening here before you go over. So I could move around, I could change the exposure slightly, move it down maybe, change the bias. Let's just turn it up a little bit or turn it down. If you've got really bright lights, which of course a lot of musicians do have, then you want to make sure that it's all working and you're actually okay with it. So there we go. So that's been zoomed in, so you can see my face. Hello. So we can then obviously zoom out, and I could zoom that back out, and straight away we're back to the way we were. But one thing I want to show you as well is that this is just a completely free package to begin with. There is a studio version. There is a link that's been on the screen for a little while now, and that is actually a piece of text that I can actually take off and turn back on again. And we can change the way that comes on as well. I can make it sort of slide, I think, as cross dissolve, or you can minify it and actually pops up. And you change the duration of that. So if you want to change anything like that, all you do is you just go to here. So this is the actual piece of text here in yellow. And then we can change the way it looks. So let me just get rid of that. And you can say, well, I want it to look in a certain way. I want it to be effective on camera 2 and camera 1. You can change the font, change the wipes. The wipe is set as, set as a cross dissolve. So let's set it as a minifying cross dissolve for half a second and save that. So now what we can do is if I take that off, there you go. It's kind of zoomed out and zoom back in again. And that's really cool. I quite like that. And then you can see that I've got the picture-in-picture. This is on at the moment. So camera 1 is the picture-in-picture, and we've got camera 2 as the main camera. So if I then turn that off, obviously I go bye-bye. And then we turn that over to there, and it comes back to the main screen. There's loads this can do, and it's one of these things where you can then start setting up and being really clever with things like audio. So if you've got any questions, guys, please do put them in the comments section. Obviously, I can see the comments there, so I just want to make sure everyone's okay with it, and just want to show you what it's doing. From what I can hear, there is obviously a little bit of audio workflow issue. It could be down to my Wi-Fi. In the UK, my Wi-Fi is not the best, but it is one of those things I just have to deal with. This is pushing it out at 1080. I could push it out at 720, but I'd have to stop the stream. That might be better for me personally, but of course you can go up to 1080 as a maximum on Cinemaker. A couple of questions I did get asked through different ways. One was, is there a way to change the cameras automatically? The answer is no, but again, I believe Cinemaker are looking into that, and either whether that's going to be a timer or whether you could do it maybe with a Bluetooth pedal, I don't know. But they are obviously looking at that as something that could be a software update. And this is the other thing as well, which is just the beauty of everything we have now and the power of the internet, which is software updates. So you could just get an update to the app and a new feature could be there, and it's completely free. And that's fantastic. Or it could be part of the studio package. So in order to get those extra bits, you might want to get the studio package. Now, the studio package is £199 for the year. However, if you think about 1 gig in 1 year, that could pay for it. So you could basically get maybe sort of, the equivalent of that. You take it on you with your live streaming as you take it on stage, or you could be live streaming from home, and we could be playing guitar, we could be looping, we could be singing, we could be interacting with our audience. So I just wanted to show you, I think it's a fantastic piece of kit. That's why I've decided to work with Cinemaker on this, because they've shown it off for things like trade shows and interviews, but they haven't really talked about it for things like musicians in depth. And that's what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be releasing a series of videos about what you can do with each part of it. And if you haven't seen the video we released on Friday, go back and have a look. It's around about 17 minutes long, but it is a full beginner's tutorial going from the beginning right to getting your live stream, and even showing you how to re-edit the footage that it automatically records. That's the other thing I just can't get my head around. The fact is that it's automatically recording it as well as live streaming it, and it's recording every feed from every camera and every audio interface device as well. So imagine you had like 7 devices, like 3 were cameras, 4 were audio devices. It's recording all of that, and then you can go back and grab that and change it. In the video, I show you how I've done a really basic edit. So I pretended to press a button, but I didn't press it, and I was meant to press it at that point. that was the whole point. So in the re-edit, I can go back and press that button and repurpose that video. So it's really, really powerful. So I hope that's okay, guys. I just wanted to show you how this works. And yeah, it's cool. And we're going to be using it for a little while as we get further and deeper into it and just show you what we can do with live streaming. So this live stream is obviously both on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. And I just wanted to show you, if you want to check more information out about Cinemaker, the link's on the screen. It's also in the description box as well on YouTube. Please give it a click and a look. And I hope that you've enjoyed this little tutorial. And yeah, I think the biggest thing about this is being able to control things. What I mean by that is being able to control things like the audio separately. So right now, obviously you can hear the microphone here, but I could turn that microphone off. And it's having that element of control, which is really, really good for musicians, really good for performers. If you wanted to play a backing track whilst a dance routine was going on, for example, obviously you need copyright for that. Just be aware of that. But if you're playing your own music, for example, or you're a magician and you want to show like close hand magic, you could have a second camera pointing down and then show what you're doing, and you can control it all here. And it's really within your own hands, and it's fantastic. It's a one-stop solution for recording and also live streaming as well. So thank you very much thank you very much for watching, guys, more than anything else, on a Sunday night here in the UK, a Sunday afternoon in the US. I don't know how England are doing, but that's why I'm wearing the t-shirt today. So hopefully they're doing really, really well. But I'm going to stop this live stream for now. And if you do have any questions, if you're watching this on the replay, please put the questions in the comment section below. I will try and answer them for you. I'm always there lurking around. No, I'm joking. But I'm always there if you want me to answer a comment. I'm trying to answer as many as I can, as fast as I can. It's only me doing this, but if we can try and answer as many comments, then that's a great thing, and you get your answer as well. That's all good. They were doing okay. They were doing okay. Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. I hope they are doing better. So I'm going to leave the live stream at that point. Thank you very much for watching. Have a fantastic end of your weekend, whatever you're doing, and we'll see you soon. Bye.